there any updates?
Okay, you guys are live right now. Um,
Are we just waiting on
Larissa,
John or
John and Eric, but you guys have quorum. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, it's six of you guys. So you guys are able to begin the meeting. Eric said he sent out an email saying that he was not able to um, attend. Um,
Katie also is not able to attend, I believe. I think she sent an email out yesterday or the day
Katie,
before.
okay. I'm going to go out and come back in because I can't hear. Okay, Larissa, we'll wait for you to hop out and come back in.
So I don't think I got any move from John though. So I think John's the only person we're still missing.
Okay. And you all have a copy of um, agenda. Is that correct?
I have the agenda. I see it says October meeting in person. I think that's an old note on it, but
Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry about that.
I wasn't sure about today, but I saw the Zoom thing earlier, so it works out. The virtual, obviously, so.
Yeah, it was just the one time that we had our meeting. Okay. All right. Okay, Nathan is logging in. And then we can be sorry. Okay, Larissa, if you want to begin the meeting.
Yeah, we can go ahead and get started. Are you ready? I can hear now. It took me a while.
Yes. Yeah, we're streaming and we're all good. And then Nathan will be in.
All right. So let's go ahead and call the meeting to order at 4:19. First order of business is the approval of minutes from October the 11th when we was in person. So we have everyone have looked at those minutes, and we want to go ahead and approve those.
I motion to approve the minutes. I looked them over and didn't see anything.
I second that. Yeah.
All right. Andy has motion to approve and Megan has second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Ayes have it. All right. For our old business, we have here for new chair. Are we looking to discuss a new chair for Public Arts Commission and also vote on having anyone that want to become chair? I think that's what we're looking for. I know it's hard for Eric to be here all the time. When he's here, he's great, but I know he's looking for a new chair for Public Art Commission. I have any volunteers or anyone wanted to nominate anyone? I know we saw that on the agenda.
I volunteer to do it. I wouldn't mind doing it. I also don't mind other people doing it.
I have any more volunteers? Any more nominations? I'm trying to see. What do you say, Jessica?
I nominate Andy.
You know,
Curious what John's opinion though is, since John's not here, but
Yeah. So what we can do is, everybody can say whoever's interested in being chair, we'll
what is,
write your name down and then we can do a vote at the next meeting.
I like the idea of that better
Okay.
okay,
when
so we'll
everyone's here, including Katie and John. Since they're older members, I feel like they should get a
Most
chance to vote.
Definitely.
so what we're
See,
gonna
I
do,
was really looking for, I was hoping that you guys somebody would have
Yeah.
emailed me saying, you were interested, and then I could have brought it all to the table today.
I think I
And,
replied. I don't know how much my emails got out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, so Andy, you said you would like to do it, and then we'll hear from the other ones, and then go from there.
right, so we wanna go ahead and table for the vote for the new chair for Public Art Commission. If anyone has anyone else in mind, go ahead and send those names to Mrs. Hall so she can have those ready for our next meeting, which is on December 13th.
And Larissa, are you still good with being vice chair?
Sure.
Okay.
When
And then we have a secretary, right?
I think John was our secretary.
John's our secretary, and then
Who's the
Katie's the treasurer, or who's the treasurer? Because we will need a treasurer. Hi. Say hi. Okay.
Oh,
So was John the secretary or was he the treasurer?
hmm.
I don't remember.
Well, as far as the secretary, I think John was her secretary, but we have our intern, Mr. Nathan, who's on the call. So he will be doing the minutes from now until through next year.
Okay. I mean, if not, if anyone wanted to be co-chair, I wouldn't mind because that's my area of expertise. If someone wanted to do co-chair, I can do treasurer if we absolutely need someone. So let me know.
Yeah, so just let's table that.
Mhm.
Everybody send me an email. If you want to recommend yourself, you want to recommend someone else, please shoot me an email and we can vote. I'll send it all out to everyone and then we can vote in the December meeting and then go from there and then start 2024 on a new leaf.
So, do you want to just send out a small Google meet and just have them nominate people? So just
No.
forget. Okay.
No. Just
all right.
send me an email.
All righty. Any further discussion on officers? No, it's the camera I'm looking at. Any further discussions? All righty. So we'll table that until our next meeting. The next thing we have here is the discussion of Mac Love approval for his work and making sure that he's outlining and making sure we table in, I'm sorry, all the art, public art. So did everyone look over that?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about it actually. So what was the what happened with that summer?
It was just being tabled for a little while.
Okay.
The mayor signed it and I am thankful for him for signing it.
Yeah.
And we can move forward with our art collection. I will work with Mac to get him started. Seems like we're still having some pretty good days. So if he can go out and maybe take some photos or even go into our community centers or other public places, that would be great. So at the time, we had said that he would start in June and would be completed by around this time, November. So working with him to maybe start now and then maybe be done in the spring. So then come springtime, in the like mid-spring, we can develop a report, send it to you all to look at and review, and then go from there of getting things maybe revived, removed, or whatever it is that you guys choose to do. Also, he plans to give a report, like a quarterly report on his findings. So yeah, so I'll keep you guys in the loop because we do have to redo some things because it has been so long on waiting for approval. So I will work with Mac and I will get back to you guys on that.
I saw the schedule on the old RFP and there was like several points on there where it was like 25, 50, 75% completion. And then there was like set deadlines. Should we prepare a new schedule to send out to Mac? Is that something we should be putting together ourselves to send back out to him, or your opinion on it,
Um,
I guess?
we could, but you know what? Because it's been so long, let me just take the lead at that and work with him because
Hmm.
we had a lot of leeway because it was the summertime.
Yeah,
Now we're on his schedule because it's about to
absolutely.
be winter. So we can't really say you have to be done at this time when we get a snowstorm, you know.
Hmm.
And he kind of created that
Mhm.
that agenda also for himself. So let
Yeah.
me work with him, find out those dates, lock that in, and then report back out.
Hmm.
Because even in
Okay.
the spring, we'll have snow sometimes. So I just want to be mindful of that and that we're not setting too high expectations, when we have to deal with our weather.
I think it's fair. Especially he can come up with a different timeline and then just send it back to us. So for the payment, the city is gonna do in increments, or how are we gonna do the payment for Mac Love?
Well, he gave us that invoice for 24,500, I think it was, because his total was 48,000.
Almost 50.
So we're still going to do the lump sum. So I'll work with our finance team to get that on the way and move forward from there.
Okay.
So yeah, we have to commit to what his, contract part, was too, as well as ours.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion on the Mac Love approval, the Mac Love project for the art collection? I'm excited. I'm excited to get it started, because that's one of the biggest things that we've been working on. All righty.
That's like your first project that
I
you
know.
guys actually sat down and worked on. So
And then we get to
when
spend
I
money
got the
the first
news, I
time.
was excited. Huh?
I said we get to spend some money. That's the first one. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Any further discussion there? If not, let's go ahead and look at the traffic box signal boxes. So we want to go ahead and I think we said we want to determine the number of boxes per district that we was looking for, and discuss the RFP and the language used in the RFP.
I could present that. I think I also sent it out to you guys. I don't know if you want to share your screen or I could share. With the number of boxes, I thought we were going to, because there's so many traffic boxes potentially, I thought we were going to wait to get quotes back to see the actual costs or have some sort of estimate on the cost before we determine the amount. Is that where we came to in the last meeting, or did we want to like set a number? Because the RFP basically is trying to get a per unit cost with any sort of variable costs that could occur by doing more. And then we would like come back and determine based off of our own budget or what we were able to raise. And maybe we like say we're going to do this amount with our budget. And then does the city council want to come in and add on to that, or like to help us do it all together? I thought that was kind of like the consensus we came to in the last meeting.
Yeah, I
I
thought
think that was also. I'm sorry, Larissa, go ahead.
I thought we was gonna look at the RFP. I think that's what's gonna be the biggest thing. Look at the RFP so we can send out to the companies. So then we can have an idea of what they're gonna cost and then go from there. We did talk about even if the city council can match, or if we can do so many. I think we talked about that before. But I do think our biggest thing right now is making sure we have that RFP nice and clean. So you want to share that, Andy, so we can look at the RFP as a team.
Yeah, let me
We
pull
hadn't
it up
looked at it.
here.
So yeah, thank you, Andy, for taking a stab at the RFP. And I've gave that next challenge to Nathan to go ahead and format that RFP into the city's format of how we do our RFP. So I know that he's been working on that.
Yeah, and I did
And
try to match that later document that you gave me as well. I did add, I think, a little bit in with the budget just costs. So I think the one important language is from like an accounting perspective or how we want them to do the quote, just to make sure that we do ask them for variable costs, because I think that could be misrepresenting the cost too. There's some costs that always pop up because you're doing a certain amount, like doing 100 is more expensive than doing 10, for example. So if you give me a per unit cost, it's not always accurate. So I think that was the only language that I did kind of like adjust a little bit. I obviously don't care if it gets changed, but that was something where I was like, I think it's a good idea to ask for those. Um,
Yeah.
Let me see.
And then because it's a new year and with supplies, the cost of supplies do have an increase yearly. So we need to make sure that we ask that question too. So yeah.
All right. So can everyone see?
Yes.
Did anyone have specific questions about like any specific areas of the RFP? Did everyone get a chance to look at it when I sent it out?
Mhm.
I know Katie said she didn't have any comments, and I think Eric also looked at it, and I think maybe Leo looked at it. I don't remember who all provided comments on it.
I didn't see anything glaring, for the RFP.
So I know some things I added. I know Summer, we talked about this last time, but proof of insurance, and general liability insurance, I thought was important for this one as opposed to like the art inventory because of the nature of the work. And then also like environmental regulations and safety measures. It's making sure they're doing like site safety plans and morning safety meetings and things like that. I didn't add too much additional in, to be completely honest. I think I just changed the overall language of the document to kind of match the new project. So I didn't know if there are any like specific comments on the additions that went in there relative to the old one. Um, I did ask for relevant project experience, but I'm questioning whether or not ton of companies will have a ton of relevant project experience, but I'll probably be surprised by it. I have no clue. So obviously companies have done it before, but I don't know, you know, who. But I guess if someone has done it, that's like a giant plus, right? So I
And
asked for at least one example, but
maybe
yeah,
it's not just the traffic signal box experience. You know, these companies that we're reaching out to may have had experience with doing like the wall wraps
yeah,
or
yeah,
trash can wraps and things like that. So we don't want to just say, you know, if you've done a traffic
right.
signal box, you know, because
So
they'll know that they have to do, and they'll work with our engineering department, like our traffic control department,
yeah,
when doing this too. So, you know, it'd be hands-on kind of like with the city,
hmm
working with, you know, the
yeah.
contractors.
I think the way I phrased it here, if you can see, it says such as the installation of large scale artwork wraps. So just like similar projects, I think is the phrasing I used.
Okay.
And then how recent it is, kind of like, because somebody did it like 20 years ago. They probably have completely different staff and people, so things like that, I guess.
So, only thing, it's not a question with the RFP, but my thing is too is we always talk about maintenance when we put art up. So if something happened to it or anything of that nature, how will we fare with that? Is that going to be part of the artist or is it going to be part of the city? I mean, the commission.
It'd be more part of the commission because one thing, that's the reason why this commission was kind of formed, to get off the city. So if a traffic signal box is vandalized to where it can't just be cleaned off, then we need to have some money set aside to maybe do
Yeah.
a reprint, you know, or maybe that company can, you know, say, hey, it's already built into the dollar amount that if it's vandalized, I will, you know, print the vinyl print at one time, right? And then go and redo it, like have all that built into the contract.
For like a warranty. So we could have ask them to put in like a statement for like general warranties if they desire to like provide warranties and then make that one of our selection criteria. The people who offer like good warranties related to like maintenance or vandalism or that provide creative solutions to that would get preference maybe.
Yeah, nice choice of word, warranty.
Would certain material be more apt to be easier to clean than others when you're looking at those
Mm,
wraps?
I know it is for like murals and paintings. There's stuff you can put over, but I don't know if that exists for traffic control boxes. I think that's a question for the traffic control department, like Summer was saying with the materials, because I honestly don't know what you're allowed to do on those. So there's high
Well,
voltage running through that stuff too, right? So
so a few companies I had talked to last year, the year before, when they discussed far as the type of material that they use, I know they have some material that is easily to be wiped off They have material that, withstands the weather. So we
Okay.
want to make sure it's some type of thick vinyl. So when the snow and the salt and all that stuff is hit against these boxes, not being ripped and torn, and also windproof. So there's different types of material that they have. So these companies could probably just give us a better description of what they have.
Yeah, like trust them with the relevant project experience to come to
Right.
us. I would hope that they would put that. I mean, most of these companies have probably done these. I've prepared these kinds of documents for bids at firms I've been at, but this
Yeah.
proposed plan for the installation, I'm assuming they would put like the types of materials in there.
Right. And then what we can do is once you guys have established two companies that you may want to go with, praying that we get maybe 10, 11 companies that are interested in this. You pick your top two or top three, then you can actually have a conversation with them and ask all those questions again. Kind of how we did with the RFP for the art collection. And then that way you guys can get, real time of what they have available.
So we don't
I
want
like
to
that
put that in there with where it says installation. You don't want to put installations and or maintenance or anything. We just wait until we narrow it down a little bit more.
I think we should put everything in the RFP.
Yeah. I think we should put the warranties thing in because that's kind of nice if we have to pay for it. It would be really nice if they provided that. Like if they provided a warranty just to win the contract, just to be able to do the work, that would be good for us because then they're going to like help us maintain it a little bit better. So I think it'd be strategic for us to put the warranty bit in there. Like, can you provide any additional warranties in the case of like vandalism or like maintenance? And we make it a question on the durability of their work or the quality of their work, and then they're like more willing to offer it back, I think, as well. Um,
Where would you put that? Would you put that under where you have evaluation?
I think I'd put it here under the required information. I'd say please provide any information about any warranties related to like the durability of your project, like in the case of like vandalism or things like that. And then
Okay.
I would also put it down in the evaluation. So these are like this evaluation section is essentially the criteria we would use to judge each of the companies when we got proposals back. So I'd probably put something in here like if you offer a good warranty, that's going to make us more likely to choose you. Or creative ways to prevent the vandalism or anything from occurring because of materials or a special process you use or something like that. It would be interesting to hear about.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only thing I was, thinking about, because that's one of the things we always talked about with any piece of art was making sure we had a maintenance plan put in place.
I can write a note on that for myself to put that in. I think that's a good point.
Okay. Any other suggestions or questions about the RFP?
Yeah, Megan here. Question, maybe not necessarily about the RFP, but about maintenance and then vandalism, I guess. How many times are we willing to like go back and redo, let's say, for example, a traffic signal box if like vandalism was to happen? Like how much money are we willing to spend on like redoing one thing if it were to be vandalized multiple times? Because that's our money as the commission, not, well, based on our conversation that we just had, maybe in the warranty, it's the money of the company if they're willing to, use their products to do it. But like, I guess what's our game plan for that?
I agree with you on that. I think that the cost benefit of a traffic box versus something really like a big mural that's on the way into the city or something. I think we should reserve the funds for like more important art pieces. Maybe have some sort of prioritization of like what's more important to maintain, which I think Summer was saying was a part of our role too. So I think just being good fiduciaries to the funds, if we only have a certain amount of our budget set aside for maintenance, I agree that we should. I don't know that we should create a rule. I think I like the idea with the budget previously. I know we had the budget conversation as well to leave it flexible and like this is a goal. I think it would be good to like leave a general maintenance amount, but then like try to set like goals for ourselves and like we want to spend more than this on maintenance. And then what we could do is if you have free time, we could create criterion about what's important and which pieces to maintain, like how close it is to the city, where it's located. If you're able to develop that, that's something that we could just have as like, guidance for the commissioners going forward. So that might be like helpful to have.
That's great thoughts from both of you. But what I will say is, usually once we do art, something like that on the corner, I don't really foresee it being vandalized. But again, I can't see the future, right? But in hopes that our community will not destroy the murals that we did, because we're making this more of a community project. So you might get someone's kid, so I think people will value that. Secondly, if by any chance, if something has been vandalized more than twice, then that means, hey, we got to be smart and say, we're not putting anything here, right? Because one thing we don't want to do is waste our money or our resources. So I can foresee maybe having them replaced once, but after that, then we just remove it altogether and don't do that traffic signal box. And that will send a message to the community saying, you're not taking care of it. So now we need to pull it. And unfortunately, we can't put something beautiful or represent this area because of what's going on. So we put it back on the community's hands to take care of what little we have in our community. So I don't want to stress too much about, it being vandalized, because I really think once we do it, it will be such a beautiful impression in our community, in our neighborhoods, that people will value driving around or walking past it and just taking a look at it. But I'm always so hopeful too, so you never know.
I don't believe that nothing will get vandalized, but I love that.
I went through a store and saw a couple, and they turned out really nice. So I think that's a great thing too, just to be able to see those, to see what we're working toward.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, cool. It shows that I'm on mute though. For vandalism, like a general, it could be if something happens, like use a solid color, or like something maybe that's not the artwork, but maybe it's an easier fix, and see what the companies might have. Like, I don't want to say you would replace the artwork, but if it's like, there's more panels to the box and something happens on one and can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're saying just replace like the one panel as opposed to the whole thing, or just spray paint over a small spot instead of doing it all over?
Yeah, like a patching approach that would still be like, it wouldn't be disruptive because it's a box. So,
yeah,
in some ways you're never going to see the whole thing, but it could be an easier fix. Like, say, for example, there's scrap pieces of the material that are just blue. So it could be a way to like do it in a way that's not costing anything except the time to replace it. Or it could be something that someone can learn how to do and do. I don't know. I can't see any of your guys' faces.
I wouldn't mind doing volunteer work to go out and try and fix something from a lab. So I'll go out there with you and help fix it.
All right. Any other additional comments or suggestions regarding the RFP? Andy, I think you did a great job with that. Thank you so much for taking the lead on that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, you did a very good job. In the words of Eric Reynolds, he would be so proud of you.
Thanks. I've written a lot of Word documents in my life, so too many every day.
Every day.
Awesome.
All righty. Any other questions there? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at that. So we'll just have some of you going to have the attorneys to look at that RFP so we can get ready to get that out. And then from there, after we start having a couple more people, I think when it goes out, we can start determining, because within that RFP, it actually gives us a breakdown, asking for a breakdown per box. And then we can start determining how many boxes per district, or how many boxes we're going to do as a commission. And then starting to see how we can have the ones that we can't afford to do, how we're going to get those, or how we're going to be able to span those out over a period of time.
I agree with that. Summer, would it be possible for whoever's getting the document next, I can send the Word doc just to take and add like the warranty bit to the criteria? I feel like they're going to change the language on it anyways. The legal department for the warranties and stuff. I don't know what their opinion will be on that. So
yeah, most definitely. When you send it over to me, kind of like if you send it in the format
Yeah.
that what I sent to you, because it has
Yeah.
all the rules from our law department. And by you putting the
Yeah.
warranty information in there, I can, pinpoint it when I send it over to our law department and
Yeah.
have them just double check on the warranty. And then we can do that. And then
Yeah,
I would like
definitely
to
have all
maybe
those.
push.
Yeah. When I was
Okay.
gonna say, I have all those rules and stuff at the bottom. I should all be in the RFP, I think, everything that was in there. So it would just be that one line, I think. So
Okay, that's cool. So once you get that to me, we'll go ahead and review it. I'll send it to law. Once they approve it, I'll send it all to you guys. You guys can just take a look at it. Let me know your thoughts. And then I probably would like to get it out sometime in December. That way, after the holiday, January, mid-January, I can have them in my office, and then I can push it out to all of you guys end of January, beginning of February. And then that way we can start working on looking at the RFPs in February.
Okay. All right.
Oh, also, just to throw it out there with the traffic signal boxes, I'll probably have Latanda Mobley join the call in January. And then because she has Great Street, she does the Great Street. She's a Great Street administrator. And they may have some funding in the Great Street areas. So some of our Great Streets where we looked at when you guys were all present and we had all those little dots that Nathan had put in. Not all those areas are Great Streets, but some of the areas are. So wherever there's Great Streets areas, she may be able to give some money for those boxes. So say, just throwing it out there, we do Arlington, right? We do Arlington from East Market all the way down to, say, Wilbeth, right? Middlebury is part of that area from East Market, to East Exchange. And then up to, I think it's 3rd or 4th Street on to Lovers Lane is another Great Streets. That's the East Akron Great Streets. Yeah. So those two areas would be Great Streets, but then you have those little pockets that are not. So we would fund the pockets that are not, and then Great Streets funding could go towards the parts that's in Great Street. So we have a lot of different opportunities, as well as with City Council. So, to give their input. So, we can wait until January for that too, because there's some new councilmen coming on, men and women coming on. So just as a new start in January where we can, kind of let everybody have a seat at the table because it's all their wards, it's the Great Streets, and it's our communities.
Summer, do you know if city council has money that they could earmark for each their specific wards to do something like this? Funds?
So I don't know what council has. I don't want to, say that they have money. I know that they do have some grants that they do. They just did one grant in all 10 wards. I think they all had like $10,000. So we could ask for some of that money. I don't know all the rules and regulations of what, well, yeah, I do because I sit on the committee. Okay, so I had to catch myself, my apologies, but we can apply for some of that. Okay. And then if they see fit for them to give money to the commission for traffic signal boxes to beautify their neighborhood, they can do so as they wish. But it would be the discretion to each council person, and we can just go from there. But it doesn't hurt to ask for their assistance. If they have additional funding, I don't know. I know that they have an operating budget, just like, the mayor's office and things like that. But I think sometimes that money's already claimed. But again, we can still ask. So there's nothing wrong with asking. Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
Any more questions? Any more discussion? All right, next order of business is the discussion of a budget proposal to send to the city council. And I know Andy has sent us.
I did send that before. I didn't have time to make updates to the prior one or make the spreadsheet. But now that the Mac Love thing got approved, I'd almost like to make more updates to it to like reflect the Mac Love project actually going through. Um, and so there's just a few updates I need to make to that. So I guess I would say I would like to just like be able to send it out here in the next few weeks. I wanted to get the prioritize the RFP since the traffic box thing's been going for a while. So when I had free time, I decided to work on that instead. So what I can do is between now and the next meeting, you can hold me accountable to actually tidy up that budget a bit and add in information about the Mac Love project, and then I can get that back to you guys in the next one. And that way, when we're going to the new year, since we voted with like John and Eric and everybody, I think a month, 2 months ago or 3 months ago on starting the fiscal year in January, it'd be good to get that before the start. So it'd be good to have that like for December, I think.
Okay.
So it'd be nice if everyone could like review that before the next meeting, so we can talk about it there. And then Summer or whoever, we would be able to get that to the council chambers when the new year starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the only biggest change right now would be our lump sum for Mac Love. That will be pulled out, and then we can just start looking at. I think we always need to make sure we have a planned budget and then our actual budget. So we'll see what we're planning for and also what we have spent by the time the end of the year.
Yeah. And I think we all discussed just making those all goals and not like an actual set in stone budget that we're like sticking to. So they're not buckets. They're just we're going to generally abide by it so that we had like some flexibility in it.
All right. Everyone is in favor of we're gonna just wait till the next meeting and have him update that for us. We're good. Any questions, concerns? And when he
But
sent it
again,
out,
If you need any help, I know that like I am not good at finances, but like if you need any help with anything, let me know. I should be less busy. Like I changed jobs
Yeah.
recently, so like let me know.
That one thing about I feel like that stuff, like with the guidelines for like what we should prioritize or not in terms of like vandalism and stuff. I feel like since we're all commissioners, we're kind of all open to just propose like guidelines and things like that that are going to help like the public arts thing. So if you were like confident about that, it could be helpful to start putting together some like suggested guidelines on like how we would approach things like vandalism or maintenance or prioritization for different art pieces for maintenance or removal, things like that. Because I think that's a part of our job anyways. So some of those things, I don't know how much of that exists in our current guidelines as far as like looking at our current art. I know that we were waiting for the art inventory to have a better idea of what we have, but I don't know if we necessarily need to wait to have that in order to start to like determine how we want to start to prioritize things. And we can always adjust that over time if we don't like solidify anything. It's my opinion, but I should be able to get all the budget stuff done myself. It's not going to take too long. I'm just like, I'm teaching and then I'm doing 6 credit hours of grad school for my second grad degree. And then I'm also working 45 hours a week. So this is like the one Saturday morning kind of thing that I have like once a month. Just like, so.
that's what you do when you're young. You just go at it. When you get old like me, you're like, okay, I can only do so much.
Lord.
So
I'm
keep
still
going,
pretty
Andy.
tired.
Congratulations.
I did a lot of
You
heavy
said
labor
that
when I
with
was young.
such a
So
smile.
Did he have a
I-
big smile on his face? Look at that.
Like it wasn't fake. You're like, I mean,
I
that
like
was just
working a
great.
lot. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
So
But what I will ask from the commission, when we have our meetings, we should be able to come to our meetings and vote,
Right.
not have tons and tons of discussion. So when we put out information, please, everyone give their feedback, within a reasonable time. So that way we can know what's going on. We can't vote because we have to be within quorum and we have to have it as a live conversation, but we can talk, and everyone is here for the same reason. So let's start communicating a little bit better. I know everybody's busy, but at least, when someone puts something out, at least those next 2 to 3 days, give your comments. Because when you do it a week later, you're like, wait, what is that email? Because you're already 1,000 emails in, right? From other things in your day-to-day life and your job. So let's just be a little bit more mindful to start just communicating.
Okay. Andy, I can always help with budgeting. That's with the math background. I'm not an art background person, so I can always help you with that part.
I'm
we're
an
gonna leave
accountant.
that to
So
Stephanie and and Megan, all the art people, Jessica, all the art people.
if you want to review my work, I do accounting and finance, obviously, but everyone's welcome to like completely review anything I put out. It's not that because I created something, it's not
Oh, yeah.
questionable. I mean, you should question everything I'm doing. So I like accountability personally. So
And I
you
don't
can
even
review
think it's
whatever.
questioning. We're
Yeah.
just everybody needs to
Yeah,
review
yeah.
everything that we're putting out because we're one
Yeah.
unit, right?
We need to be
And when
quorum
we
like
put it out,
literally. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we're just, you create something, I create something, Stephanie creates something. We also have to review it because at the end of the day, sorry, I need some water. I've been talking all day. At the end of the day, our names are all on this.
Yeah.
Because we are the public arts. Well, you guys are the Public Arts Commission. So you want to make sure whatever your name is on is valid and true.
Yeah. And I guess my comments that you don't need to ask to help. You can just do, and I'm not like gonna get in your way with that. So
Okay.
All righty. Any other discussion? We said we're gonna table that. Do we might need to, you want us to vote on that, or we just want to make sure that everyone is in favor that we'll wait to the next commission until Andy put out a budget, just making sure everyone is looking at that budget before we come back to our next meeting on the 13th.
I think we only need to vote to approve it, since we're not actually like doing anything with it. So I think we could just wait on it, right?
I was just gonna to table it. I was gonna vote to approve
yeah.
the table. That was what I was asking. Do we need to vote to table it? I don't think so.
No, we could just bring this up at the next
Okay.
meeting. Yeah. So then when Andy sends it out, you guys make your comments. It can go back to Andy. Andy can clean it up. And then at our next meeting, which will be in December. Oh my gosh.
December 13th.
Then you can vote on it. So we don't have to have another round of questions.
Okay.
You guys can vote on it.
All right. All right. Our next item of business is upcoming public art events. Do we have any upcoming public art events coming up? What do we know of? I know all the people in the art world.
I think John posted something on LinkedIn. Let's see, it's for Summit Art Space. It's Artist Sunday on November 26th at Summit Art Space. And John put something on his LinkedIn about it. So yeah, that's the only thing I saw this month.
And if there's anything else, guys, please share with the group.
Did they, I think he was looking at two. He had a artist talk. I think it was November 9th. I think it's tomorrow over at the Akron Art Museum. So they do have an artist talk there. We're Curly Raven Holton. I saw that he put out also. Anything else? All righty. Do we have any public comments at all?
No public comments.
No public comments. All righty.
We have 5 viewers
Hold on.
today. That's pretty cool.
Sorry, I have one thing. The Circus for the Arts at the Bulk Street Theater in West Hill is this Saturday. It's a fundraiser for CATAC. So I don't know, am I allowed to say fundraisers? Is that allowed?
What is CATAC?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
Yeah. It's not doing any harm.
Center for, okay, I think I know what you're talking about. I had to say the
Sorry, yeah.
acronym in my head and then spell it, and then it was
Yep. So for the folks on the call that are watching on our YouTube, it's the Center for Applied Theater and Active Culture. My bad. But yeah, so it's their yearly fundraiser. It's the Circus for the Arts. It's on Saturday. Sorry, I had to get to all my like events that I already have. But yeah, okay. That was my thing. Thanks.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you.
All righty. Any other agenda items? All right. Well, it's 5:01. I have anyone to the motion for the adjournment.
happy to motion to adjourn.
Thanks, Andy. Any second? Anyone?
I second Roberta.
All right, thank you. Yeah, it's been motion and second to adjourn. The time is 5:01. Thanks you, everyone. Thank
All
you.
right, do you want to just announce the next meeting?
Yes, the next meeting will be December the 13th at December 13th, 2023 at 4 p.m. And we're gonna be
Alright.
on Zoom. So if everyone can
Thank
just stay
you.
on for just a second. You want to get off live.
Okay, hold on one moment.